KHOU.com gives us this story today. Former Houston police officer Stephen Bryant pleaded guilty Tuesday to a federal charge of falsifying records that interfered with a government investigation. The charge is related to the botched Harding Street raid on January 28, 2019.
KPRC2 investigator Mario Diaz is live downtown. Mario, what did this former officer admit to doing in that botched raid?
Lauren, in layman's terms, Stephen Bryant essentially admitted that he tried to help clean up this entire mess. His guilty plea today, a pivotal development, not only for the case as to where it stands today, but for future cases involved in this entire scandal that has wrapped up HPD now for more than 2 years.
Bryant admitted he lied on a report to protect former officer Gerald Goins, who led the no-knock raid. After Bryant breached the door, homeowners Dennis Tuttle and Regina Nicholas were killed in a shootout with police. Their dog was also killed, but no drugs were found in the house.
Doyle says there's been talk of Bryant working with federal prosecutors. He views today's admission by Bryant as a key development for the Harris County DA's office in their cases.
Andy Drumheller, Bryant's attorney, said his client very much regrets what happened. Drumheller said by making a plea deal, Bryant is taking his responsibility for his conduct.
I was actually surprised.
Stephen Bryant's guilty plea in federal court today surprised many. He pleaded guilty to destruction, alteration, or falsification of records in connection to the deadly botched raid on Harding Street. Doug Griffith is the president of HPD's union.
It doesn't bother me in the least.
Griffith making it clear to KPRC2 investigates he is not concerned of Bryant working with prosecutors. In fact, he views it as a powerful message to others who are charged.
At the end of the day, I'm hoping that this will serve as a warning to Goins and to the others that were possibly involved, that if they were involved in criminal activity, they need to man up and do what's right.
Goins and 3 other officers were shot. From his hospital bed, Goins told investigators he bought drugs from the couple the night before the raid. He said they were tipped by a confidential informant that drugs were being sold by the couple. According to federal prosecutors, Bryant, who wasn't shot, found the search warrant inside the home and realized Goins had lied about the drug buy. Bryant then wrote up a false report claiming he was with Goins when Goins bought heroin from the couple the night before the raid.
Attorney Mike Doyle represents Regina Nicholas's family. HPD narcotics officers shot and killed Nicholas and her husband, Dennis Tuttle, while serving a no-knock warrant built on false allegations in January 2019. Doyle says Bryant's plea now opens the door for the real story to emerge.
He also claimed heroin found in Goins' car came from the couple, but evidence later showed it was from an earlier raid that Goins also lied about, according to Houston Police Department. Bryant could get up to 20 years in federal prison when he's sentenced in August. He also faces state charges of aggregate theft by a public servant.
Well, what it means is you have someone who is at the scene who doesn't have an excuse not to answer questions about what happened before, during, and after the murder of Regina and her husband.
Goins was charged with 2 counts of murder in connection with the raid. In glowing reviews, the 34-year Houston Police Department veteran was praised for utilizing confidential informants to positive ends and for his highest level of safety awareness. Court records show Goins was sued twice for his role in officer-involved shootings, but those incidents never show up in his file. His reviews also never mentioned a written reprimand Goins received in 2002 for not tagging crack cocaine evidence in the police crime lab. Former officer Gallegos is also charged with murder. He fired the shot that killed Dennis Tuttle, according to court documents. Goins' so-called confidential informant turned out to be Patricia Ann Garcia, a woman he allegedly had an affair with. Garcia, 53, has a long criminal history dating back to 1984, KHOU 11 Investigates learned. Among the arrests was one for cocaine possession by the same narcotics squad involved in the raid. The Harris County District Attorney's Office has dropped more than 150 cases linked to Goins and or Bryant, and they've investigated more than 14,000. Multiple convictions have been overturned. Prosecutors say Goins had been lying about drug raids for years to get more overtime.
It certainly ought to give the state the opportunity to find out more about what happened at the scene after the shootings and really get to the bottom of what's never been answered.
Byron Prophet was in prison for 7 years for a crime he says he didn't commit, and he's suing Goins and the city of Houston, Texas. He was convicted of cocaine charges in 2008 and is now out on parole. Prophet's civil rights lawyer, Randall Callanan, said, quote, "The Houston Police Department has a pattern and practice of planted evidence, perjured testimony, false arrest, and malicious prosecution, resulting in dozens of wrongful convictions, ruined lives, and countless lost years in prison."
But what does it mean for the other officers awaiting trial?
This ought to give them chills that there's somebody who was there who might be starting to tell them the whole truth.
Goins, Gallegos, and Bryant were allowed to retire after the allegations came to light. No surprise there. 10 other officers faced charges connected to the raid.
So what is next here for Stephen Bryant? He is set to be sentenced in approximately 2 months at some point in August. Also, he is facing up to the potential of 20 years behind bars. Live downtown, Mario Diaz, KPRC2 investigates.
Okay, and there's some other parts of the story that I didn't give you because it's a really lengthy story. You can go read it for yourself. I'll put the link in the description box below. But it's a very lengthy story. And, here's one where a lot of people were calling the Tuttle raid, the Harding Street raid, rather, a total lie, a total conspiracy, and a total farce. And now it's coming to light that it was. It was plain murder. These guys lied. This cop came forth, and what got me was his attorney saying, well, he took the plea deal because he's taking responsibility for his actions, you see. He's so regretful. No, he's taking a plea deal because he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life behind bars. That's why he's taking a plea deal. Let's get it straight, homie. He's not taking a plea deal because he wants to take responsibility. Had he never got caught, he never would have taken a plea deal anyway. He never would have even been doing this. He's doing this because he got caught. And now he's got to go, oh my God, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail. What can you give me that'll keep me out of jail? Well, I hope in August they give him his 20 years and he spends the next at least 15 behind bars. And so it cracks me up when cops say, look, you need to trust us. We're law enforcement. We don't lie. How come I do editorials all the time on cops that lie? And I'm not saying all cops lie. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying when all these cops get upset at us for recording them and they go, I don't know why you're recording us. You're trying to make us look bad. That's why you record us. You're trying to get a reaction. No, we're recording you because of guys like this right here in Houston, Texas. Because of cops like this right here. Lied on their report. It says in the story, Bryant goes in there and goes, oh. He looks at the warrant and goes, we're not supposed to be here, right? Or whatever it was. So what did he do? He allegedly writes a false report to cover it up. Now he's going to be convicted, or sentenced, I should say. He pled guilty, so now he's going to be sentenced. He pled guilty. Well, it was a plea deal. Come on, dude. No, if he was innocent, that cop would have never pled guilty. If that cop was innocent, he would not do a plea deal. He would go, I ain't doing, I didn't do it. He pled guilty because he got caught, and he knows he's wrong. That's why he pled guilty. Has nothing to do with, well, let's just plead guilty and we'll get the best deal. He pled guilty because he is guilty. He knows it. Come on, you have to use your brain here. And people are going to go, well, you trust the mainstream media? I don't trust these law enforcement officers out of Houston, Texas. That's for damn sure. So guys, pick up your cameras, people. We need people, when you see police on the street, get out and record. We need more people recording cops. Because when they lie in their report, your video just might show a different story. But guess what? Cameras don't lie. Oh, I know people lie. I know people can edit videos to a certain way to meet a certain narrative. But in and of itself, this thing right here does not lie. It just captures what's going on. This thing has no brain. This thing has no mind. This thing has no logic. You just hit record and it just picks up whatever's going on. That's its function. It had one job to do, and it does it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Community Leo Watch, watching Leos, that's law enforcement officers, to include those that are lying in Texas. And by the way, this one was sent to me by someone through email. Thank you for sending me this story. This is one of the greatest stories of the week. So thank you for sending that to me through my email. I'll talk to you guys later. Watching Leos, that's law enforcement officers. Did I say that? From coast to coast.